we all want to strike the ball solidly. I mean, it's probably in the top 5 of the most important things to predictability with irons, predictability with distance control apexes, is striking the ball solidly in the center of the club face. But to that end, getting it in the center of the club face also requires that you're delivering a consistent loft. Now, many people will call this chase lag. Start thinking about lag. What is lag? Well, first, lag is this idea that the head of the golf club is kind of lagging behind the handle. Now, is the club head lagging behind the handle? Well, it's behind the handle. We call it a lag, but I would argue that in many cases, the head of the golf club in the downswing is going faster than the handle of the golf club. And so it's behind the handle, but it's actually going faster than the handle, which is a hard one to conceptualize. Anyway, so how do we teach ourselves how to deliver an impact where the handle of the golf club is the head of the club head and the face of the golf club is in a relatively neutral position with the head of the golf club still traveling in a downward direction? Because what I want to do is I want to hit the golf ball first, and then I want to hit the ground. Now, whether you hit the ground after you make contact with the ball or at the same time, they can both be very effective as long as you do that time and time again. Where you get into trouble is when the club bottoms out before the golf ball. That's when we get into thins and fats and closed-faced, open faces, pass inside, all kinds of different things go wrong. All right? Now, my favorite drill, which I'm going to give you right now, but don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and make sure to share with your friends what we've got. Give me some comments. You guys want a certain thing, you want to talk about a certain topic, please let me know. All right? Here you go. So, I have this 3-piece drill, and I came up with this drill a long time ago, probably 30 years ago, okay? I had this image in my mind that there's a rotation that's taking place out of the body, and what I want to try to do is I want to transport the club to a certain point where all of a sudden I can let wrist activity, centrifugal force, and other things acting on the club pull the club head away from the handle. Well, in this drill, I want you to feel when wrist activity is going to happen. There's going to be wrist activity in a golf swing. What we don't want is we don't want a lot of wrist activity on this side of the golf ball. We want wrist activity to be kind of happening when the wrists and the hands are on the forward side of the golf ball, the target side of the golf ball. So, here's the drill. You get set up. I got a 6-iron. You get set up, make a backswing where the handle of the golf club is right in your trail thigh, the shaft is parallel to the ground, and the club face is just a little bit toed in. So if you go down the line there, Gibbsy, you can see that the toe of the golf club is not over the heel. It's actually target line side of the heel. I don't want it to be dead above it. I want it to be down there like that. So we go here. Now we're here, parallel. Now what we do is we rotate our body so that our hands get into the lead thigh, but the head is still behind the ball, and then you just snap down into the ball. When you start to do this, what you're going to notice is when you bottom the club out, the club is going to bottom out about 4 inches in front of the golf ball. Okay? You also are going to feel like your shoulders are not seesawing, but they're rotating. In fact, one of the things that I feel is my trail shoulder is almost higher. It won't be that way at strike, but it's almost higher than my lead shoulder, and I feel like my upper body is very, very open. Okay? So here, there. And then you just get into the ball. Do the same thing here, and there. Now, what you notice is that golf ball doesn't get up into the air. And what you also notice, I'm not trying to really swing fast. I'm not trying to put a lot of speed into that. That club head speed was 10 miles an hour. That ball traveled 7 yards. You can see there was a 0 apex and a 1.5 vertical launch, which means when I did that, that club face was nearly perpendicular to the ground. Okay? So same thing. Here, up a little bit more. Here, rotate, down. And you just get this feeling of the wrists kind of uncocking down there at the ball. Rotate, boom. I like to do this probably 6, 8, 10 times where I can really feel like, and I don't feel like I'm holding on to an angle. I just feel like I'm not letting go of the angle. And there's a big difference. Like, I'm not restricting my wrists from doing this. I'm just delaying them. Okay? So, same thing here. Rotate, down. Now, moving the club a little bit faster. That was 12 miles an hour there. That ball left at, what, 19, 20 miles an hour of speed. Now we do the same thing a little bit faster. So here, boom. And that one there, the club was moving at 19. The golf ball was moving at 28. Now, what's really cool about this is I'm still launching that thing like under 5 degrees. But what I get the feeling of is that my upper body is turning open, my lower body is turning open, and then boom, I'm letting go of the golf club. And that brush point is happening up by my lead foot. And that's because my hands are doing this. So when I'm standing here like this, the club head is well off the ground. If I just take the hand and I just let him go down, the club head moves down to the ground. Up here, it's, what, maybe 1.5 feet off the ground? When I just start to do that, now all of a sudden the club starts to meet to the ground. Now, we get to here, and now we start making small swings, not fast. What I'm doing is delaying the hit. And when I start to delay the hit, now all of a sudden I'm delivering less loft. I'm delivering more club head speed. And right there, the club head speed was at 46 miles an hour. The ball speed was at 60 miles an hour, and I'm not really swinging hard yet. But what I'm also doing is I'm feeling, well, what happens when I go here? Well, all of a sudden I feel like my body is rotating left for a right-handed golfer. Like, I'm not sliding, I'm rotating, so I'm open. So now I go, okay, wow, that feels like a rotation of the body. So I'm rotating the body and then just letting the wrist straighten out. And that's what I did right there. Now all of a sudden I pick up the speed. Well, what also happens when that happens, when I'm doing all those things, is I'm carrying speed into the strike, letting the ball get in the way of the golf club, and all of a sudden the thing starts to take off. And when I do this, I'm going to do this in just a second. We're going to pay attention to what we'll call the launch angle. So that one there, the launch angle was 16.4 degrees, okay? That 6-iron, I just basically chipped it, and I had about 68 miles an hour club head speed and almost 96 miles an hour ball speed, which is pretty good for a chip. Now I'm going to do the same thing here, rotating the body. The body is rotating open, and then boom, I let it go down. Not a fast swing here, but just longer. Okay, and all of a sudden, and all I'm trying to feel there is, where's the wrist activity happening? What's going on with the strike? Did I hit the ground before the ball? Yes, I did. That ball speed was at 110 miles an hour. The club head speed was at 75. I flew at 59. But I want you to pay attention to that vertical launch. That vertical launch is 14.2 degrees. Now, I'm going to play with a 6-iron somewhere in the 17 to 19 degrees. So this is lower than I would normally get. And the reason why is that I'm really working on this drill. And this is something that you're going to need to work on. You're one of those people, you're flying this thing straight up into the air. It's leaving at a launch angle of like 26. It's not going very far. Do this drill. I promise you, you're going to hit the ball farther. You're going to hit it more consistently in the center of the club face. And you're actually going to start taking divots that are after the golf ball. Okay? So, and it's a wonderful little, like, before you go through the ball, before you hit it, you just, and you can feel the sort of 1, 2, 3 action. Now I'm going to hit the ball, just like that. And I'm going to feel that 1, 2, 3 action here. And that was simple. And there's the 1, 2, 3 action. This one is tracking right down the target. Oh, yabba dabba do. So here's what you're going to do. Do that drill. I'm telling you, you can't believe how effective it's going to be. That ball, remember I told you before I launch it between 17 and 19? That's 17.9. I mean, you can't get much more in between 17 and 19 than 18. It's right there. Do this drill. Do yourself a favor. Do this drill. You cannot believe how much better you're going to strike the ball. It will take you a little bit of time. It takes a little while to develop the skill. You cannot believe how much better you're going to get by doing this drill, and you're going to do it with all golf clubs. I promise you, all golf clubs, whether it's a sand wedge or a driver or anything in between, all golf clubs. Remember, I use a 6-iron to do this drill. I recommend you start doing this with a 6-iron, maybe a 7-iron, possibly even an 8-iron if that's your favorite club. But do this. I know you're going to get better. To improve all parts of your game, subscribe to my channel and click the link below.